If you receive the Guaranteed Income Supplement, or GIS, this may be one of the most important reminders you'll hear this year. Thousands of Canadian seniors rely on GIS payments to help cover groceries, rent, utilities, and everyday expenses. But every year, some recipients experience reduced payments, delayed payments, or even temporary interruptions for one simple reason: they didn't file their income taxes on time. And here's the surprising part: even if you owe no tax at all, failing to file your return could still affect your GIS benefits. In today's video, we're going to explain exactly why this happens, who could be affected, what you need to do to protect your payments, and where to find official updates if your situation changes. Let's get started. Welcome back to Canada Pension Pro, your trusted source for updates and information affecting Canadian seniors, retirees, and pension recipients. Today's topic focuses on the Guaranteed Income Supplement, commonly known as GIS. For many lower-income seniors, GIS provides essential financial support on top of Old Age Security, or OAS. Because these payments are income tested, the government needs up-to-date income information to determine how much support you qualify for. That is why filing your taxes each year is so important. This isn't meant to alarm anyone. In fact, most seniors who file their tax returns on time won't experience any issues at all. However, understanding how the process works can help you avoid unnecessary stress and protect the benefits you depend on. According to official Government of Canada guidance, GIS eligibility and payment amounts are generally reviewed each year using information from your income tax return. Service Canada uses your reported income to determine whether you continue to qualify for GIS and how much you should receive. If a tax return is not filed, Service Canada may not have the information needed to reassess your eligibility. As a result, GIS payments could be delayed, reduced, or temporarily stopped until the required information is provided. It's important to understand that this does not necessarily mean you permanently lose your benefits. In many situations, once the required tax information is submitted and processed, payments can be reviewed and adjusted accordingly. But the interruption itself can create significant hardship for seniors who rely on these monthly deposits. Detailed breakdown. So who is affected by this? This information is particularly important for current GIS recipients, seniors receiving both OAS and GIS, individuals who recently retired and may become eligible for GIS, widowed seniors whose household income has changed, family members helping elderly parents manage finances, caregivers assisting loved ones with paperwork and government benefits. Now let's talk about how the system works. GIS payments are generally based on your previous year's income. Each year, the Canada Revenue Agency receives tax returns from Canadians across the country. Service Canada then uses that information to reassess GIS eligibility for the next payment period. If your income decreases, you may qualify for a higher GIS amount. If your income increases, your GIS payment could decrease. But if no tax return is filed, there may not be enough information available to determine what you should receive. This is why seniors are encouraged to file their taxes even if they earned very little income, they owe no taxes, they believe nothing has changed financially, they assume the government already has the information. Many seniors mistakenly think that because they are retired and don't owe money to the government, filing a tax return is optional. In reality, filing often serves as the key that unlocks access to various income-tested benefits. Important dates to remember. The standard income tax filing deadline for most Canadians is usually April 30th. However, even if that date has passed, it is still important to file as soon as possible if you haven't already done so. The longer the delay, the greater the chance of interruptions in benefit reassessments. If you realize you've missed filing your taxes, don't panic. Taking action promptly can often help resolve the situation more quickly. Real-life impact. Let's consider a realistic example. Imagine Margaret, a 76-year-old widow living on OAS and GIS. Her monthly budget is carefully planned. She uses GIS to help pay for groceries, prescription medications, and utility bills. Margaret assumes she doesn't need to file taxes because her income is limited and she doesn't owe anything. Months later, she notices that her expected GIS payment hasn't arrived as usual. Now she faces uncertainty. She begins making difficult decisions about which expenses can be postponed. After seeking assistance, she learns that filing her income tax return is necessary for her GIS reassessment. Once the required information is processed, her benefits can be reviewed and restored if she remains eligible. Situations like this can be stressful, particularly for seniors already managing fixed incomes. And that's exactly why awareness matters. Presenter commentary. In my view, this issue highlights an important reality facing many retirees. Government benefit programs often depend on administrative processes that may seem routine but carry major consequences. Filing a tax return may not feel urgent when you're retired and living on a modest income. But for GIS recipients, it is often one of the most important tasks of the year. I also think family members have an important role to play. Adult children and caregivers may assume their parents have everything under control, while seniors themselves may assume nothing has changed. A simple conversation about tax filing deadlines could prevent weeks or even months of unnecessary financial stress. At the same time, it's worth noting that many seniors face barriers such as health challenges, mobility limitations, language difficulties, or confusion about paperwork. Compassion and support are essential. The goal isn't to assign blame. The goal is to ensure eligible Canadians receive the benefits they deserve. Practical advice. So what should you do if you receive GIS? First, make sure your income tax return is filed every year, even if you had little or no income. Second, keep copies of important documents related to your pension benefits and tax filings. Third, if your circumstances have changed significantly, such as the loss of a spouse or a major reduction in income, contact Service Canada to understand how those changes could affect your benefits. Fourth, if you need help completing your taxes, consider seeking assistance from trusted family members, community organizations, volunteer tax clinics, or qualified tax professionals. Finally, rely on official sources for updates. Government programs evolve over time, and details can change. The most reliable information typically comes directly from Government of Canada, websites and Service Canada communications. Avoid relying solely on social media rumors, forwarded messages, or unofficial claims that cannot be verified. What if you already missed filing? If you're watching this video and suddenly realizing that you haven't filed your taxes yet, don't assume it's too late. The most important thing is to act now. File your return as soon as possible. If you have questions about your situation, contact Service Canada and explain your circumstances. Every case can be different. The sooner you address the issue, the sooner your eligibility can be reviewed. And remember, temporary interruptions don't automatically mean permanent loss of benefits. There are often steps that can be taken to resolve the situation. Let's quickly recap today's key points. GIS payments are income-tested benefits designed to support eligible low-income seniors. Service Canada generally relies on annual tax information to reassess eligibility and payment amounts. Failing to file a tax return can result in delays, reductions, or temporary interruptions in GIS payments. Even if you owe no tax, filing remains extremely important. If you've missed filing, take action as soon as possible and seek assistance if needed. And whenever questions arise, turn to official government sources for accurate information. For seniors living on fixed incomes, protecting every dollar matters. Sometimes one simple administrative step can make all the difference. If you found today's update helpful, please take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who receives GIS benefits or helps manage a loved one's finances. Have you ever experienced delays or confusion related to government benefits? Let us know in the comments below. Your experience could help other viewers navigate similar situations. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to Canada Pension Pro and turn on notifications so you never miss important updates on CPP, OAS, GIS, and other programs affecting Canadian seniors and retirees. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and we'll see you in the next video.